Hmm? Hey, wake up. You seem to be dozing off on me. I don't think you want to be unconscious around me. Now, it seems that we've come to a decision. It looks like the lucky winner is SCP-049, the Plague Doctor. Now, this one I did have particular, interests because of his medical studies. And, well, let's just say I'm interested in this cure, so I think it'd be best if we were to give you up as an experiment. How does that sound? Does that pique your interest? No? Well, you shouldn't have betrayed me then. Now, shall we head off? Yes, Aqua here. I see. Well, 173 definitely picked the perfect time to start a security breach. So much for my experiments. So what do you want me to do with the prisoner? No, I do need him still. Don't want to have them go to waste, do I? Okay. Well, I do what you must, and try to make sure you live. I can't afford my favorite security guard to go away, and I'll be sure to keep you up to health. Bye-bye, my dear. Well, it seems to be your lucky day. Seems there's been a security breach, and we've been advised to stay put. Luckily, this area is actually quite secure, but I'm not too fond of just standing here being bored. So, why don't we do some research, huh? I'm sure you're quite curious about this SCP. And so am I. So what do you say, my good friend? Shall we pull up some classified information? Better than being given up to the doctor for right now. And who knows, maybe in this breach, you might have gone out too. Now, come on. Let's see what we could pull up. Let's go. Okay. Now, let's see. Of course, it's obviously encrypted, so how about a little this? Oh, stubborn are we? much of pain just to see what I want to see. It's just the basics. Just give me 1 second, dearie. Not like you can go anywhere else anyway. I mean, you could, but, well, let's just say, with the things running around right now, not a lot of people will make it. Especially with Peanut on the loose. And we don't really have to worry about him here. Mainly because I guess you could say I'm always watching. Here we go. Let's see. Alright. SCP-049. Object class Euclid. So, just for the record, obviously we contain anomalies here. We refer to them as SCPs. So in this particular case, the Plague Doctor is SCP-049. And we refer to them as object class. So, 3 categories. 1 is safe, which is, as it says, it's safe to contain, not much effort is necessary, and it's relatively easy to contain. Simple. But they're still anomalies. And in the wrong hands, they can have dire consequences. Now, our Plague Doctor here is Euclid. These are, I guess you could say, the medium class SCP, where it is possible for end of the world situation, but it's actually relatively easy to contain. But if it were to get out, well, let's just say after you know about the Doctor, you'll see why he's a U-class. And the final is Keter class. Keter are the ones are a for sure end of the world possibility. So this entire world will poof, go away if one of these were to get out. These are the ones that everyone fears here in the facility. And there's a couple here. So, I would be careful with raiding such a facility. Because if one were to get out, you may have just ended the whole world. It's fascinating how you humans want to constantly harm each other. It seems silly. And in the end, you only just end up hurting everyone else. Just something to think about. Now, shall we continue? Good, because I think you're going to want to hear this. Now, the special containment procedures for SCP-049 is contained within the small standard secured humanoid containment cell in Research Sector 2 at Site 19. Hello. SCP-049 must be sedated before any attempts to transport it. During transport, SCP-049 must be secured with a Class 3 humanoid restriction harness, including a locking collar and extension restraints. And these are actually secure ones, not your pathetic little ones that you used to share with me. Yes, I remember. Well, you didn't share. I found it. And monitored by no fewer than 2 armed guards. While SCP-049 is generally cooperative, most Foundation personnel, outbursts or sudden changes in behavior are to be met with elevated force. Under no circumstances should any personnel come into direct contact with SCP-049. During these outbursts, in the event of 049 becomes aggressive, the application of lavender has been shown to produce a calming effect on the entity. Once calm, 049 generally becomes compliant and will return to containment with little resistance. As you can see, he's not a bad guy. Just a scientist. And he can be reasoned with. And honestly, the way he gets treated here, such a shame. I can imagine the frustration of wanting to complete your work, but so many, what's the word? Brick walls are in the way, and it prevents him from getting any work done. The next part. Okay. So, in order to facilitate the ongoing containment of 049, the entity is to be provided with a corpse of a recently deceased animal, typically a bovine or other large mammal. Once every 2 weeks for study. Corpses that become instances of SCP-049-2 are to be removed from SCP-049's containment cell and incinerated. We'll get to -2 in just a second. I'm sure you'll love to hear that. Because this is of SCP-049 to be removed from incinerated. Okay, here we go. SCP-049 is no longer permitted to interact with human subjects. Well, until my case, that is. I'm sure I'll be quite happy with you. Normally, interaction with human subjects and requests for human subjects are to be denied. Now, temporary containment procedure update. Per Containment Committee Order of 049-S19.17.1, SCP-049 is no longer permitted to interact directly with any members of Foundation staff, nor is to be provided with any additional corpses to be used in its surgeries. This order shall persist indefinitely. Until such time a consequence regarding the ongoing containment of SCP-049 can be reached. Now, let's talk about his parents. It's very, very interesting. Let's see. description of SCP-049 is a humanoid entity, roughly 1.9 meters in height, which bears the appearance of a medieval plague doctor, while SCP-049 appears to be wearing the thick robes and a ceramic mask indicative of that of profession. The garments instead seem to have grown out of SCP-049's body over time. Fascinating. Very, very fascinating. And are now nearly indistinguishable. Man, words are hard. Indistinguishable from whatever form is beneath. X-rays indicate that despite this, SCP-049 does have a humanoid skeletal structure beneath the outer layer. Very interesting. SCP-049 is also capable of speech in a variety of languages, though tends to prefer English or medieval French. French, I like that. I guess I know a little bit, just like how to greet myself. Bonjour, monsieur. Je m'appelle Aqua, et toi? And that's pretty much all I know. And other than my someone teaching me the word sandwhich. Okay. Now let's see, what else does this have? Okay, let's see. Well, SCP-049 is generally cordial and cooperative with Foundation staff. It can become especially irritated or at times outright aggressive if it feels that it is in the presence of what it calls the pestilence. Although the exact nature of this pestilence is currently unknown to the Foundation researchers, it does seem to have an issue of immense concern to 049. 049 will become hostile with individuals it sees as being affected by this pestilence, often having to be restrained should it encounter such. If left unchecked, SCP-049 will generally attempt to kill any such individual. SCP-049 is capable of causing all biological functions of an organism to cease through direct skin contact. How this occurs is currently unknown, and that's what fascinates me. Fascinates me. Fascinating. Just as your motives to betray me, and I won't let that go. Oh, I'll make sure to never let that go. Now, back to it, messing me. occurs is currently unknown. An autopsy of SCP-049's victims have invariably been inconclusive. 049 has expressed frustration or remorse after these killings, indicating that they have done little to kill the pestilence, though will usually seek to then perform a crude surgery on the corpse, using the implants contained within the Black Doctor's bag it carries on its person at all times. While these surgeries are not always successful, they often results in the creation of instances SCP-049-2. Now this is when it gets interesting. Now, there we go. Let's see. So, 049-2 instances are reanimated corpses that have been operated on by SCP-049. These instances do not seem to retain any of their prior memories or mental functions, having only basic motor skills and response mechanisms. While these instances are generally inactive, moving very little and in generally in a abominatory fashion, words again, they can become extremely aggressive if provoked, or if directed by SCP-049 or 049-2 instances express active biological functions, though these are vastly different from current understood human physiology. Despite these alterations, SCP-049 often remarks that the subjects have been cured. A very interesting way to say cured. Now, its discovery, of course, always with these codes, passwords, and codes. So sick of these. Always has to have a password for every little thing. There we go. Now, 049 was discovered during the investigations of a series of unknown disappearances in the town of Montauban in southern France. Montauban. I already know someone's gonna hate me for mispronouncing that. Sorry. I don't speak French. Just saying hello. In southern France, so during a raid on a local home, investigations found several instances of 049-2 as well as 049 itself. While law enforcement's personnel engaged the hostile of 049-2 and 049 was noted as watching the engagement and taking notes in its journal. After all, 049-2 instances were dispatched. 049 willingly entered the Foundation custody. Interesting. So it came willing. That's odd. Why would it want to come here? Maybe think it's the best bet that it's going to further its research. Interesting. Gonna have to write that down real quick. Came in willingly into Foundation custody. Let's see, what else does this have? So interesting. Huh. An interview log. Fascinating. Interviewer Dr. Raymond Ham, Site 85. Interviewing SCP-049. Oh, I saw you spoke French during a meeting. So then, how should we begin? An introduction? Is that French? Can we get a translator? The King's English. No need for translation, sir. I can speak it well enough. Good. My name is Dr. Raymond Ham, and I... 049 interrupts. Ah, a doctor. A like-minded individual. No doubt. Wherein is your specialty, sir? Dr. Ham replies, cryptobiology. Why? SCP-049 laughs. A medical man, such as myself, wonders abound. And here I worry I had been abducted by a common street dogs. SCP-049 looks around the room. This place, then. This is your laboratory? I had wondered. As clean as it is, and with such little trace of the pestilence here. Interesting. Oh, of course, it needs another password. Password. It's always with the damn passwords. I am very curious about this pestilence, though. Pestilence. Ah, here we go. Okay, we have a little bit before the next set of passwords I need to put in. Okay. Dr. Ham responds, the pestilence. What do you mean? 049 speaks with ferocity. The scourge, the great dying. Come now, you know the... 049 taps temples furiously. What is it they call it? No matter. The pestilence, yes. It abounds outside these walls, you know. So many have succumbed, and many more will continue to. Until such time as a perfect cure can be developed. 049 leans back in its chair. Fortunately, I am very close. It is my duty in life to rid of the world of it, you see. The cure to end all cures. Dr. Ham replies, when you say the Great Dying, are you talking about the bubonic plague? 049 pauses. I do not know what that is. Dr. Ham responds, I see. Right, well, the entities our agents encountered at that house, they were dead when you encountered them, yes? And you reanimated them? 049 looks back and responds, in a matter of speaking, you see things too simply, Doctor. Expand your horizons, life and death, sickness and health. These are amateur terms for amateur physicians. There is only one ailment that exists in the world of men, and that is the pestilence, and nothing else. Make no mistake, they were very ill, all of them. Dr. Ham replies, you think you cured those people? 049 speaks, indeed, my cure is most effective. Dr. Ham, the things we recovered were not human. Interesting. So, he's trying to cure humanity? No. Doesn't seem to be that simple. So, some humans have this pestilence, but some don't? And, he's trying to cure him. And he's not referring to the bubonic plague because he has no clue what it is. So what can it be? Maybe we can find more after I find some more of this interview. More passwords. What did I think? None whatsoever. What happened after that? But this is getting good. I like this. Oh, I like this. What about you? Are you having fun? Aren't you excited to meet him? I am. Though I have no clue what he'll say about me. As you can see, I'm not exactly human. What am I? A girl, duh. I know that's not what you meant. But you think I'd tell you information about me? After what you've done? I'm merely humoring you. Here we go. Let's see, 049 pauses and glares at Dr. Ham. Yes, well, it is not a perfect cure, but that will come with time. And further experimentation. I have spent a lifetime developing my methods, Dr. Ham. And I will spend a lifetime more if necessary. Now, we have wasted too much time. There is work to do. I will require a laboratory of my own, one where I can continue my research unimpeded, and assistance, of course, though I can provide those on my own in time. 049 laughs. As Dr. Hammer responds, I don't think our organization will be willing to. Gets interrupted by 049. Nonsense. We are all men of science. Fetch your coat and show me my quarters, Doctor. Our work begins now. log. Interesting. So he really did think he was just a bunch of scientists. Well, that'd help him with the pestilence. Well, of course, this facility seems to take him as a threat and don't know his real intentions. End result, holding him back. Now, let's see. Now, Dr. Ham wrote some interviewer notes here. So let's see. Well, SCP-049 is capable of communicating in a very human way. There is a strange sense of unease that one experiences when in its presence. Make no mistake, there is something very uncanny about this entity indeed. Additionally, we've confiscated that pointed stick that 049 keeps waving around. Part of this was due to a standard confiscated protocols for the possession of anomalies, and part because 049 really is a menace swinging it around like he does. So he was just hitting people with it. Seems the doctor has a sense of humor. I like that. The entity was displeased at first, but after we made some concussions in providing it with test subjects, which are admittedly more for the benefit of our own research, it warmed up to the idea. Huh, interesting. Now let's see. What is this silly thing doing? There you go. Okay, let's see now. Now there's an observatory log for 049 here. Okay, so let's see. While in containment at Site 19, 049 has spent a considerable amount of time studying and performing surgeries on various mammalian corpses it has been provided. SCP-049 will routinely spend several days performing surgery, and then regardless of whether or not the course becomes an instance of 049-2, spending several more days documenting its findings in a thick leather journal stored within the doctor's bag. 049 will often seek to share its findings with members of the Foundation staff. The following is a log of several occasions during which 049 was observed operating in a mammalian corpse. I don't know if I'm even pronouncing that right. Some strange words. Observation log 049.0L.1 summary. Subject 049. Preface. A test subject, which it's a D class, which is what you are now. D85123 was introduced into SCP-049's containment cell. The entity expressed sincere gratitude towards all members of containment and research staff. SCP-049 began by asking D85123 several standard medical questions as it begins removing tools from his bag. Shortly after finishing its preparations, 049 quickly closed the distance between the two, killing the subject. Wow. Okay. With a touch to its throat. Afterwards, SCP-049 made a number of considerable alterations to the basic structure of the subject's corpse, often inducing fluids from within its bag into the subject by a way of a hand-powered pump and copper tubing. So this bag seems to be an infinite storage case? Very interesting. What else does this thing have? Okay, let's see. The results in 049-2 instance became animated, flailing and grasping at the walls of the chamber with a number of manufactured limbs while moaning out of an oblong orifice now present in its sternum. During this time, 049 was observed taking notes of the instance in its journal and remarking to the watching research staff about the efficiency of its cure. Security personnel entered the chamber to move 049 back to containment and were attacked by the instance. The security team dispatched 049-2 instance, and 049 returned to containment with no resistance, stating that it was pleased with the results. That's so interesting. Just so it makes zombies, basically? No, I don't think it's that simple. So if the cure, he pumps the liquid into the body and makes manufactured limbs, and it reanimates it. So I guess in a way it is a zombie because it doesn't remember what it is. It just seems to be some sort of feral animal that just relies on instinct. Interesting. Wonder what else it has. Okay, so let's see. Of course, more passwords. Always with the passwords. So, are you excited to meet him? No. No. Well, because I warned you. But you know what you were getting yourself into. I wonder how Peanut's doing. Thought he'd be here by now. Because the Foundation's might have actually secured him for once. Well, with minimum casualties. Okay, here we go. Here's another log. Observation log 049.0L.2 summary. Preface: SCP-049 was provided the corpse of a recently deceased scout. SCP-049 expressed gratitude at the provisions. Observation notes: SCP-049 operated on the goat corpse for several days, eventually resulting in an instance of SCP-049-2. SCP-049 expressed pleasure in this outcome, though admittedly the disease was still in its nascent stage. My veterinary practice is rudimentary, but the patient responded well to the procedure. Interesting. Okay, so it works on animals and humans. I wonder what other beings it could work on. Let's see. Observation log 049.0L.3 summary. SCP-049 was provided the corpse of a recently deceased orangutan. 049 expressed noted gratitude at the provisions due to the similarities between the orangutan orangutan, reanimating it several times. However, SCP-049 appeared to be discontent with its results it experienced, returning to the creature 3 times after its initial reanimation for additional work. After it was unable to reanimate the corpse a 5th time, 049 turned the corpse over to the Foundation staff for incineration, stating, "I have learned so much from this, though I fear my early optimism was misplaced. I hadn't yet come across such a stumbling block on my road to the cure. More subjects like this would do a great deal in advancing my research." So orangutans. Orangutans don't put a block in its cure. It's similar in human physiology. But if he's struggling with the orangutan which have the pestilence, but isn't happy with the reanimation, this is so interesting. So he's making a perfect zombie? No, still not too simple. That's too... There's something else to this. And I need to know what. So interesting. Oh, I can't wait to meet him. Let's see, here's a full log. Okay, let's see. Oh, this one needs a big password. This one's fighting back, okay. What do you have? I'm not the greatest hacker, but I've been with this facility for so long. And if it ever gets too much for me, I have someone special for the occasion. Oh, those secrets are mine. If you were to know those, let's just say this facility would be a cakewalk for you. And you would wish the doctor would be the only thing you get. I'm not getting through. Password. Are you kidding me? The password was password. Multi-billion corporation. I don't even know, but whatever. It went through. Alright, subject 049, preface. 049 was provided the corpse of recently deceased bovine. 049 expressed mild annoyance at the provision, though accepted it nonetheless. 049 spent several days operating on the bovine corpse, breaking only to dine on the requested dinner on the what? Wait, what? 049 spent several days operating on the bovine corpse, breaking only to dine on the requested dinner of thin crack, salted pork, and hard cheese. Is he a Frenchman? I don't mean to put a stereotype on that. It's just like when I think of cheese, I just automatically think French. Oh boy. But nonetheless, interesting. I didn't know he eat. Very interesting. 049 eats and requested salted crackers, pork, and hard cheese. Okay. Let's see, so beginning first by embalming the corpse. 049 was observed to be producing a number of long syringes from its bag, each containing a different dark, viscous fluid. 049 described these fluids as essence of the humors. Essences of the humors. But what is it? Essences of the humors. And elaborated by saying the pestilence may bring out a systematic balance in such a case. Before true healing can begin, one must find the humors in balance or the body will reject the cure. Before healing can begin, one must find the humors in balance or the body will reject the cure. Huh? Okay, I must admit I'm actually a little stumped here. Interesting. This world is so fascinating. If the doctor's even from this world. But he does seem to have lived in it for a long time. Over the next few days, SCP-049 spent a considerable amount of time adjusting the organs of the bovine corpse with a number of large metal instruments. After 8 days, 049 produced a lightning rod. Huh? Which Dr. Ham exchanged for an electric cattle prod attached to an extension cord and struck the corpse in several locations. This actually seemingly had the effect of reanimating the bovine, which once again became ambulatory, despite the inversion of the head and reorientation of its limbs. What on? Strange. So strange. Is there anything else here? Oh, another interview. Interesting. Begin long, Dr. Ham. We've watched you work for several weeks now, and honestly, I'm not sure I understand what you are doing. Can you describe your process in detail? 049 response. Oh, goodness, no. The process is most intensive. As I said to your assistant, the best instruction you will find about my methods are here in my journals, as I have kept exhaustive records of my work there. Dr. Ham replies, I see. My concern, Doctor, is that we still don't understand what you are seeking to cure, or how it manifests, or how turning these creatures into quasi-living mindless drones helps in that effort. 049. You do not understand the pestilence? Even after all this time, Doctor. It is an unspeakable horror, one that has shown its true face many times before and will again. I find myself blessed with the wisdom and good senses needed to root it out and destroy it, but many like yourself cannot. It is a cruel judgment. I fear to be at the mercy of a disease you cannot fully comprehend. Dr. Hammersmith, that still doesn't answer my question. How is your cure any kind of a cure at all? Oh, let's see. Wow, this is getting good. Seems like the doctor is getting a little bit angry. 049, growing suddenly agitated. It is a cure. You may laugh at my efforts if you please, but do not besmirch the good name of scientific progress that has developed this great mercy. What you so short-sightedly see here is a life better than any this. What you short-sightedly see here is a life better than any this creature could have hoped for, stricken as if it was with pestilence. This creature is now clean, unable to spread the pestilence, and free from the terror it would have experienced otherwise. The terror. So, spreading the pestilence? But then, I guess we'll just keep it going. Dr. Ham says, this is hardly a creature at all. Doctor, it's not even 049 is very agitated. Do not jape with me, sir. You and your colleagues are like so many others, unable to look past minor setbacks to see the salvation taking place before your very eyes. Do you wait to remove rotten timbers until the hall collapses on top of you? No. You find them and you pull them out and replace them with those untouched by rot. And most of all, you do not simply mock the structure because now it looks different to you. It is strong. It is free of the disease. Dr. Ham replies, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to agitate you. I'm just trying to understand. 049 takes a deep breath. Yes, well, do mind your words in the future, Doctor. I am a professional, but even professionals may feel the bite of pride in dealing with criticism of their masterpiece. I will forgive this as an act of good faith between colleagues. Dr. Ham replies, is there anything else I can help you with? Wow, so he's very prideful too. So strange, he's very human. Well, he has a human skeleton, but I don't know. This is very, very weird, but interesting. Let's see, this looks to be like the last part of the interview. Of course, it needs an idea. Okay. Is there anything else I can help you with? 049 pauses, looking away from Dr. Ham. No, that will be all. Another test subject on the usual schedule. You know my preference of the subjects with more human anatomies. End of log. Some research notes of Dr. Ham, 049 does seem to generally want to help other humans. It has not yet been able to provide a concrete example of what exactly it is trying to save us all from. I have watched it now over several weeks, and while the outcome does not seem to ever change, 049 continues to claim that it's growing closer to its perfect cure. I think the entity may be more aware of the reality of these outcomes than it would like us to think. Strange. Very, very strange. Okay, let's see. Incident. Starting shortly after 049's initial containment, Dr. Han conducted a number of interviews with the subject regarding its anomalous properties, and over time began to note its displeasure with its subjects and the SCP-049 instances. This continued for a period of several months, during which 049 never exhibited any aggression behaviors. On April 16, 2017, as Dr. Ham was entering SCP-049's test chambers to conduct another routine interview, the entity began to grow anxious and asked Dr. Han if he was feeling well. Following protocol, Dr. Han reminded 049 that the interview was required, after which the entity became hostile and attacked Dr. Han, killing him. Due to the lapse in security protocol and because Dr. Ham did not activate the in-chamber emergency system, Dr. Ham's corpse was not discovered until 3 hours later, by which point 049 had converted it into an instance of 049-2. In the aftermath of this incident, 049 was interviewed by Dr. Serpent. Huh. So you killed the doctor, huh? Sad. So it seems it's another interview. Okay, so there seems to be another interview and another one after that. And then that's it for 049 for the current date. Okay, let's see. Dr. Sherman, I need you to explain yourself. 049 doesn't respond. 049, you are being directed to explain your actions. And I will remind you that failure to cooperate will result in further restrictions during your containment. 049 pauses. My actions do not need to be explained. Dr. Sherman replies, you killed Raymond Ham and then butchered him until he... 049 interrupts angrily. Not dead. No. Not dead. He is cured. Dr. Sherman replies, cured? Cured of what? 049 replies, the pestilence, sir. I had thought you, at least, would realize what luck it is I detected it before. Dr. Sherman interrupted. What pestilence? You keep going on and on about this pestilence, but you have not once been able to properly identify this disease. What could you have possibly seen in him today that you had not seen so many times before that it would be worth his life? 049, the pestilence presents and progresses in an unforeseeable fashions, and has a queer way of creeping into the unprepared, and his breathing becomes heavier. Call it what you want, Doctor. It was a mercy I did to him. He is cured. It's remarkable. So, this pestilence comes at you in unexpected ways, and it just randomly starts developing? So weird. Oh, there we go. Dr. Sherman replies, he's the vegetable. 049 pauses. I would not expect you to understand. You and your ilk have proven time and time again to not be men of science, but of men of emotion. You cannot appreciate the horrors I have seen. Those many millions who have succumbed to the pestilence and been changed who... Dr. Sherman interrupts. Your cure cost Ray his life. 049 replies, no, good sir. I have saved it. You would allow this world to slip back into the despair of disease and death, ignoring that I have created a miracle. And Dr. Sherman taking over 049. What disease? What pestilence? He was a healthy man. He was a good doctor. 049 responds, I am offering it freely to the afflicted. You are not worth this argument, sir. You are short-sighted and foolish. Dr. Ham was sick, and I cured him. I am only one who can do this. My work must continue. There is so much still to learn, so much to... Dr. Sherman interrupts. I've had enough of this. Consider your allowances revoked. Welcome to Containment 049. We are done here. So I guess they ended him. Let's see. Oh. And others can be saved, even you, though you do not deserve it, might be saved. I can save them all. I can cast down this plague. Once and for all, I can do this. Only me. I saved him. Dr. Ham. I cured him. He was sick. I know he was sick. I know he was. And you are all sick. But I can save you. I can save you, all of you. Because I am the cure. End log. Wow, that was a lot to process. I'm still lost on what exactly this pestilence and this cure is. But man, maybe I could cut him a deal. I guess at this point you're just a bargaining chip for me. his head. And don't try to threaten me. I may look small and frail, but there's a lot you don't know about me. So, sit down and be a good little D class. We still have one more interview to look over. Okay, let's see. Dr. Itkin. Let's see what you discovered with 049. Dr. Itkin, SCP-049. We are conducting this interview to close out our investigation of your actions taken April 16th that resulted in the death of a staff member. Do you have any comments to make? 049 replies, only that I took forward to the day when you will allow me to resume my work. I have spent the last few weeks compiling my notes and constructing a new theory of how the pestilence was able to infect someone in such an insidious manner that I nearly couldn't detect it. Dr. Aiken, have you experienced any remorse for your actions, for the death of Dr. Ham? 049 replies as he waves his hand. Yes, well, the death of a colleague is always regrettable, but in the face of the pestilence, we must be swift, Doctor, and act without hesitation. Dr. Itkin replies, Dr. Sherman noted in his reports that you seemed to be mournful during your initial interview. So he does feel a little bit of guilt from that. That's so sad. I wonder if he actually regrets it. Or maybe, I don't know. It's hard to tell. Let's see, SCP-049. Looks like he was about to say mourning, as in mourning over the doctor. He pauses. Perhaps. I had not thought that. It is lamentable that a fellow doctor became infected, but the work continues, regrettable as it was. Dr. Ham's death provided important insight. Living human subjects are the only way to proceed forward. I am decided. My cure is of little use on dead flesh, and I have gleaned all I can from your generous supply of corpses. My desire turned towards tending to those who still living who suffer from the disease. Dr. Itkin replies, I'm afraid you are going to be disappointed. 049 laughs. Oh, Doctor, I wouldn't be so sure. End log. Well, you heard him. We're going to need live bodies. And luckily, due to this containment breach, I think a few would be nice to have and won't be missed. Maybe I could offer that to him in exchange for some info. That is, if he's even willing to talk to me. let's just say he's definitely a lot more interested in humans than my kind. But that seems to be everything for this. I learned quite a lot. I hope you did too. It's amazing. So many SCPs. So wonderful. I can only imagine what others are out there. I just want to read more, but maybe one more wouldn't hurt. I wonder. Yes, come in. I see. Okay. So it looks like everything's back in order then. Well, do me a favor. Why don't you just write on the report that a couple of D classes were inevitably missing in action during the breach. Bring me as many as you can, and in exchange for your loyalty, I'll be sure to make you an elixir, and your sister will be cured. I promise. And I never go back on a deal. How does that sound? Good boy. Just bring me as much as you can. I want at least 5. And if you bring me more than 20, I'll make sure you're taken care of too. Good boy. Now, get to work. I guess you could say I have a way with words around here. Now, wanna make a deal?